Hello, friends. Today we are talking about teens, teenage brains. Teenagers seem lazy, argumentative, irresponsible, and impetuous. They're filled with childlike wonder one moment and they're depressingly cynical the next. They're self-conscious and inhibited, except perhaps when they want to be the center of attention. Teenagers are a strange lot. Philosophers and writers going back to Aristotle have wondered what demons plague young people. In fact, you may have had that same question yourself. Before the 1990s, we could only speculate as to why these things were, but since then, we've been able to look into their heads. And science has made some really interesting discoveries about the developing brain. And some of them answer our questions about our teenage clients. Today, I'm going to share some fun facts about brain development and offer you a bit of advice. As usual, you're free to take or leave it, but I'm going to offer some advice. And hopefully these ideas will help you with your relationships and maybe even your policies with your young clients. So stay with me. I am Meredith Colby. I am the author of Money Notes, How to Sing High, Loud, Healthy, and Forever, which introduces neurovocal, a way to approach teaching voice for popular styles, singing for popular styles, that is based on neuroscience. I train voice teachers and coaches in the application of neurovocal, and I also work privately with singers who may or may not be voice teachers. Just saying. If you'd like information about private voice coaching one-on-one with me, or you would like to learn more about neurovocal, go to made a slide for it, neurovocal.com, and get that information. My freebie today is an opportunity to get my free download called Pop Rock Rep for your teenage clients. So since we're on the subject of teenagers today, you can get that. The link is in the description here on Facebook Live and also on YouTube in the description below. The link is right there. So help yourself. Feel free. So today, if you like this, if you like and appreciate what I bring to the party here, please give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, make a comment. All the algorithms love that stuff, and it sure helps me. So if you appreciate what I'm sharing, share back. So everything that I'm telling you today is readily available information online. I didn't have to go into any fancy secret archives to get this. What I've compiled today, I'm sharing from National Geographic magazine and Nautilus magazine, some cool stuff from Lawrence Steinberg and Sarah Jane Blakemore from Cambridge. So smart. Oh, she has a really good TED Talk, by the way, and a few of my favorite podcasts also. So I really had to narrow this down. There's so much interesting to say about this particular topic, but I tried to I weeded like mad so I could pick just a couple of things that really show up for us in the voice studio. So please know that while these generalizations are supported by statistics and research, statistics don't actually apply to individuals. You know what I mean? So people and their own individual brains, they have shared qualities, but they are also very unique. So please bear in mind that these are generalizations and may or may not apply to your particular client. Okay? So let me see. Sorry, what I have up here. Okay, so teenage brains aren't really growing very much, in mass. Brains reach about 90% of their full size, what's going to be their full size by the time we're 6 only. But the brain changes all the time, and there is a massive reorganization of the brain that takes place between ages 11 or 12 and 25 or 26. So neuroscience and psychology have divided this time of neurological reorganization into 3 separate stages: early, middle, and late adolescence. So that's kind of interesting too, the whole concept of late adolescence, which begins when you're 18 or 19. So that's kind of cool too, but I'm going to try to stay in what I said I was going to talk about today. So egocentric bias is one of the primary qualities of the adolescent brain. Now, to be fair, egocentric bias is a pretty big umbrella, and it actually does apply to all the humans. We all have it to a greater or lesser degree. And it applies to the big umbrella, assumes a lot of different, not a lot, but many, a good sized handful of cognitive biases, all having to do with judging others based on our own experiences. So, well, not just our own experiences, our values, and our emotional states. And that's what we care about in terms of our teen clients. In early and middle adolescence, so sort of from 11 or 12 to 17, 18, adolescents have a poor ability to gauge others' feelings in light of their own. Okay, so whatever their feelings are feels so big to them that they can't really gauge somebody else's feelings as being different. For instance, if they are anxious about being late to their lesson, they might perceive you as being annoyed with them, even if you're not, even if you've reassured them that that's not what you do. So, for instance, if they are feeling self-critical, they may perceive you as being critical. So they're being self-critical and you are saying nothing or saying, and they're thinking to themselves, she thinks I'm terrible. So that. And also, like on the other side of that coin, is they may not think it's a big deal to miss a lesson. So with no, or, with little or no notice. So if they don't think it's a big deal, they will think it shouldn't matter to you either. So that's that extension of my reality is everyone's reality that is under the umbrella of an egocentric bias. So that's interesting and something really important we need to keep in mind. Another egocentric bias, which you may recall from your own adolescence, happens in early and middle adolescence, is the imaginary audience. So that imaginary audience can be really fun for them, right? They can have those concerts in their bedrooms for their screaming fans, thousands of people in their bedrooms watching them sing, right? But they also might be surprisingly self-conscious because even though it's just you and them in the space, it's more than that somehow. And actually, just to be fair, psychology has some good theories about that version of egocentric bias. Neuroscience does not. Neuroscience, I looked and looked and I'm like, does anybody in neuroscience, is anyone offering up why we imagine that everyone's looking at us when we're 14 years old? There was nothing. I couldn't find anything. So we don't know why that is, but we do know that it happens. And your client would probably be somewhat mortified if she knew that you knew that she was giving the concerts in her bedroom. But at the same time, maybe, depending on your client, she may feel reassured that you also did that. That might be something you could share with her, that you also gave these concerts in your bedroom when you were 14. So just a little point of a kind of a fun egocentric bias that most of us share. So what do we do with these? Why do we care about egocentric bias? What should we do about it in the studio? First of all, know that it's a real thing. It is not their personalities. It is not their zodiac sign. It is not. It's neuroscience. It's neurology. It's developmental. It's normal. So when you're perceiving your clients, your teenage clients, as thinking they're the center of the universe, they kind of are. They kind of are the center of the universe. So just know that that's a real thing. It's not them with some personality defect, it's real. And be reassuring in all the ways that you can. In all the ways that you can tell them that you see them, that you understand their situation, that you appreciate their egocentric bias in whatever way that makes sense to you to do. But a lot of times this egocentric bias can also make them feel very alone and very watched simultaneously. And that's one of the problems with that we know about with social media right now, but that's another discussion, isn't it? As an adult in their life, you who matters to them, who's very important to them, who's not their parents, you can offer alternative perspectives. Because again, egocentric bias is going to tell them that what they feel and what they perceive is the only possible perspective. But you can offer other perspectives to them, and because they love you and respect you, because the relationship with you matters, they will take your opinion into their hearts. They will consider it. So if they tell you something that is absolutely, yes, this is what it is, this is fact, you can just gently offer another perspective. And I can almost guarantee that they will think about your perspective that you're offering them. And then the last thing, which I kind of started with a little bit, which is let go of your expectations. Sometimes you're going to be thinking that that your own egocentric bias, because we all have it, is that their behavior is somehow a reflection of you and your behavior, how they value your relationship, and it's not. So try to remain, how can I say it? Just know what they're going through. Let go of your own expectations for them and let them be where they are for now. It's not forever. Things change all the time. Massive reorganization of the brain, remember? So another thing that adolescents have and are challenged with because of the manner in which the brain is reorganizing is impulsivity and sensation seeking. So the brain is reorganizing sort of back to front. So I think everybody kind of knows that it's our front of our brain that makes us the way we are in terms of being able to be creative and have ideas and execute executive functioning stuff, right? Be able to get stuff done. That's the last part of your brain that grows or that matures. That's a good way to say it. Last part of the brain that matures is the front part of the PFC, the prefrontal cortex. And that is the part that is involved in impulsivity and sensation seeking. So controlling, yes, okay, I just said that, sorry. Looking at my notes. So for instance, let's talk about the impulsivity first. As it pertains to your studio, your teenage clients may miss their lessons because something more immediately attractive came along. So they don't really have the capacity to think farther out, or to, like, somebody says, hey, come over to my house and play a video game with me. And they are thinking, I have my lesson. There's a good chance the person who thinks that the video game is more enticing is going to go play the video game instead of going to their lesson. They may just blow you off if the parent isn't involved somehow. That's not personal. That is not because they don't value their voice lessons. That is not because they don't value you. It's because they have impulse control challenges at this stage of their life, which is normal. Okay. So, in the same way, executive function, it plays a large part in what we call discipline, right? The ability to do something that doesn't seem to yield immediate results today, because in the long term, we want those results. And so practicing. Do your teenagers practice? Probably not. Very few of them practice. And that's because discipline is sort of the anti-impulsive behavior. It's the other side of the coin. It is a function of the prefrontal cortex. It's not that they don't value the lessons. It's not that they don't believe you when you tell them that practice matters and will make a difference. It's that they have a hard time with impulse control. And sensation seeking is also kind of interesting. Sensation seeking is a desire for new and perhaps extreme circumstances. And it peaks at around age 15, but it's still way up there all the way through the end of adolescence at age 25 and 26. So that's sort of why that age group tends to do the stuff that you look at, like, if you're past 26, you look at it and you go, those people are crazy. Well, they're not crazy. They're just adolescents. And they are involved in sensation seeking because it feels amazing to them to drive really fast, to get really drunk, to, I don't know, go swimming in Lake Michigan when it's winter time. And yes, it is a dangerous time. We lose lives to this sensation-seeking brain development. There's no doubt about it. The way it shows up in our studios is that, there's a couple of big things. One is that they understand consequences. They're not stupid. They're smart. They understand that if you do this, you probably will get that. They understand that. They just think it doesn't apply to them. So in other words, I tell my daughter, if you speed, you may get a ticket. And she thinks to herself, I'm sure that that's true, that other people, when they speed, they get tickets, but I'm not going to get a ticket. So then, of course, she's very shocked and upset when she does. She gets pulled over to get a ticket. So that's that thing. And the other thing is that you probably have thought to yourself from time to time, all of these people think they're going to have careers in show business, in the entertainment industry, and they're not. You may have looked at one of your clients who is 16 years old and is really quite reserved. And she's thinking, I want to be a famous singer when I grow up. And you're thinking, you're really not cut out to be a famous singer, Petunia. You are a very reserved person. But you're not going to say that because you're thinking, who knows? Carol Burnett was shy. We don't know what's going to happen. A lot of the reason she thinks she's going to be a famous singer is because of that sensation-seeking behavior. When she goes on stage, that is a thrill. That is one of the most thrilling things she experiences, and it really scratches an itch for people that age, a really big itch. So she's thinking, this feels so amazing. I will feel this amazing the rest of my life. No, she won't. Not if she does it professionally, she won't. Partly because when you do something professionally, it stops scratching the itch so much. And partly because she won't always be 16. She will grow up. So what do we do? What do we do about these things? Again, know it's a thing. Just know that it's a thing. Number 2, have policies and payment plans in place that allow you to be dispassionate. I wish I had known this years and years ago, because I used to get so upset with my students and take it so personally when they would miss their lessons with me. The behaviors have nothing to do with you, but they affect you. So please, as much as you can with your policies and your, I don't know, however you structure the way you get paid for your time, make it so you don't have to have feelings about that. That if they miss, and you still get paid. Talk to them about other things that they like and are good at. It doesn't have to be with an agenda necessarily, but just like, hey, talk to me about your art class. Talk to me about lacrosse. Talk to me about looking after your babysitting weekend, your babysitting you did this weekend. Other things that they like and are good at. Talk to me about your science fair. Talk to me. Oh, really? You made an app? Tell me all about that. Let them talk to you about other things that they're good at, because it may just help them be aware, build their awareness that there are other things they enjoy and that they're good at, and that although performing currently feels good because they are currently predisposed to sensation seeking, it may not be the right thing for them long term. You don't have to say that. You just have to acknowledge the other facets of interest that they may have. So those are my thoughts for today about the adolescent brain in the voice studio. I'm Meredith Colby. Have a great week. I should probably pull up a thing. Okay, I don't have a thing. Whatever. There we go. I'll pull that up. I'm Meredith Colby. Have a great week, and I will see you. Bye-bye.